Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015 whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the you in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
Where we give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe so you can keep up with everything that we do throughout the week. Don't forget, every Friday at 7 p.m. is the Friday Fix, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And on Sunday, 1 p.m., the Town Hall. One day we're going to name it. Shout out to our sponsor, Doc Loves the Kids. Don't forget to check him out. You saw the commercial in the front. We're going to put the logo down here. Sir Wesley, how you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm hearing that you're a little bit under the weather, man. I'm hoping that you pulled through and everything's okay, man. It's cool. You popped in yesterday to the live and made it happen with us on the live yesterday too. But so I appreciate you the perseverance that you're showing through all.
You got, like you keep saying, that's be consistent. That's not what he said in the text messages, folks. He said some very harsh words to me. Told me to get up. It was motivational. I wrote him a nasty letter. I tried to get him deported, but
not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
I'm a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
How the Trump administration moved to shut down the Consumer Protection Agency's headquarters. Over the weekend, some staff members at the Consumer Protection Bureau saw a sign of trouble to come. Windows in two basement conference rooms were covered with brown paper and blue painter's tape, concealing their occupants. Voices could be heard inside discussing cuts to government agencies. When the door was cracked open, there were young people with temporary badges. It was fresh evidence that the agency, which was created to protect Americans from financial fraud, abuse, and deceptive practices, was the newest target of Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency. Now, the Washington headquarters is shut down for the week, and there are fears that it could be gutted like the U.S. Agency for International Development. Pictures of the conference rooms were viewed by the Associated Press, and the scene was described by two current employees who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they feared retaliation. The secrecy contradicts insistence by the White House that Musk is transparently fulfilling President Donald Trump's goal of downsizing the federal government. We look into this. There's a lot more to be read and things to be talked about. But this agency was responsible for getting back $21 billion, I believe, last year for the American consumer. I mean, this is basically our stopgap measure from companies being able to just beat us and get over on us.
This is this is the same agency that Barack Obama had them set up after the financial housing crisis. You know what I'm saying? Because they were, messing with America, giving us things that they knew were fraudulent, but we were taking it because it seemed like a good idea. I mean, they're just dismantling the government.
Loans.
Yes. And then, they had, I watched a video the other day where it was a federal employee and they're talking about basically they're like, we're having to do 15-minute interviews in front of these 19-year-olds that are making us explain why we should exist as federal employees. And so this is highly dangerous. This is why I say let this man have a third term. Because, we got out of his first term, our country was in shambles, and people didn't learn their lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to sit there and just blame Joe Biden for everything when and people don't want to realize it. It's that, whatever, and my aunt said it best, shout out to her. She was like, all the stuff that he's doing right now, you won't feel the effects for 2 to 3 years. Except for him getting rid of all this federal funding, you're going to feel that really quick. Really soon. And so it's just more dismantling. I mean, the whole thing is, Elon Musk is on a vendetta, or Donald Trump is on a vendetta, and Elon Musk is his sword right now. Because Donald Trump can't move around. He's like, hey, you go do it, because nothing happens without Donald Trump saying it.
Yeah, I mean, right now it seems like everything that they're doing is just for businesses, for their actual embetterment, not the embetterment of the American people. They said this agency saved American consumers $20 billion since its 2008-2009 inception. So this is just telling you who are you really targeting? Are you targeting bureaucrats, or are you targeting the American consumer? Because on top of that, you've tried to freeze other programs that help the consumer, whether it was farmers, whether it was kids in school, whether it was old folks. Whether it was senior citizens, or whether it was just people who had student loans. You know what I mean? We're trying to get student loans, attain student loans, to get education. I mean, right now it's like everything you're doing is to attack the health, education, well-being of the American citizen. You have done nothing at all to show us that you actually care. The Consumer Protection Agency actually is here to help us. You look at the things that's been going on lately. Now they have it so that airlines cannot put different line items inside of your fare after you try to book your ticket. I mean, there's other right now. There's even some two senators. I think it was Josh Hawley of Missouri, and I think it was Bernie Sanders. I think he's of Vermont. He's an independent, I believe. They're trying to put it up so where it's like a 10% credit cards can only charge you 10% interest, because some of them get out of control, 30%, 30. It's just crazy.
Yeah, they
You know what
send
I
me
mean?
those
So
all the time. They want 29.5% APR.
yeah, it's just, and so we need these type of things. These are type of regulations that work for the consumer, that work for the American citizen. There are, of course, there are some red tape that we do need to try and look at again and get rid of, but it's not these agencies and it's not these people. These are the people that we can call if there's something wrong. Who are you going to call now? Who's going to be the people that actually going to do something about it? We're going to just have to go on and write what is it called on when you go into the and write a review for the different.
Yeah, you can write a review, you can call your attorney general, but there's nothing that's going to be do about it.
At all.
Like, think about the whole thing is now our country is going to be run by corporations, and corporations don't like regulations because
Oligarchs.
it stops them from making enough money. They don't like. I'm surprised they haven't lowered the working age yet.
No, they'll get to it.
They'll
They'll
get to it.
definitely
Yeah,
gonna
they'll be
get
like,
to
hey,
it.
if you're 10 years old, 11, hey, you can work.
You see what happened when the guy in Florida, he was a congressman in Florida. He was speaking about when they were talking about freezing the food
The food, yeah, he's like, yeah, the
for
kids need to go to work.
They need to work. I worked when I was in school. They're over here getting over on the government. Getting over on the government is what he uses. The words that he used. I worked when I was in school. I worked my way up through. Man, you're in high school. These are high school kids. You're talking about free lunch,
Oh
free
no,
breakfast for them.
they're not only high school
Elementary,
kids, high school, middle school, elementary,
elementary,
preschool.
K
You know what I'm
through,
saying?
yeah.
But
Period.
they expect them to work because back in the days when they hear their grandparents talk about, oh yeah, I've been working. I mean, like when I was a kid, bro, my first job I was 11 years old.
No, but the fact of the matter is, those were jobs that were available to you. There's no more
Yeah.
newspaper routes around here anymore. That's
No,
done.
nobody. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like grown
that's
folks are
exactly what
now
my job
working
was
at
too. It was a
Mine's
newspaper
too.
route.
We all had those. Those are done now. That's over with.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, I mean, when you look at it, grown people are now having to work at McDonald's and Burger King because they're losing their jobs in the factories. Those factory jobs are no longer there, so they're having to have either first or second jobs in burger places. So it just doesn't make any sense right now what his administration is doing. I would love to have more people come on our show that we can talk to, so I can get a real cogent conversation out of someone who can tell me what he's actually doing for the American people, because
Well,
I
that's
don't see it.
to them. They feel like they think the government is too much. But like I was explaining to our panel on Sunday, and I don't know if you can see it in their faces when I started explaining to them, like, look, it may not affect you directly, but all
Mhm.
the people you like to go around, all the people that are just in your peripheral, around in your world, in your kids' world, in your family's world, that's who's going to affect. Your day is going to change. You're not going to get to go home and just sit around and do nothing. You're going to go to a restaurant and be like, hey, they're closed. Well, why are they closed? Somebody, there's no regulations. They got said some bad meat. Somebody went in there, ate the food, shut them down. You know what I'm
Think
saying?
about
Like,
it like this. One of them was is a truck driver. He owns a trucking company, and so I mean that's going to affect you when people can't buy products. When you're getting rid of 100,000, 200,000 people, you're trying to get rid of hundreds of thousands of workers. How many millions, if not billions, are coming offline when you're looking at that many employees, that many workers coming offline? How much money is not being spent? Where are they going to get a job that's comparable to what they have in the federal government? And at the same time, it's not just they have a job in the federal government, they're just sitting around doing nothing. They're actually doing jobs that help people.
or
So it
what
doesn't
about
really
this? What about when, the AI kicks in and all the truck drivers turn into AI because, and a robot doesn't have to stop.
at
They're
all.
going to put solar panels on top of that truck and it'll never have to gas up again.
Ever. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, electric gasoline stations, eventually they'll be efficient enough where they can just run off of the electric, just from station to station to station, basically and they won't even have to worry about it because there's no waiting, because they already will know exactly what time this truck will be finished, charging, and it'll move right into the slot. And they won't need you. First, they'll need you in the passenger seat because everyone will make them that have a driver in the passenger seat. And eventually you're gone. And then you'll see that, because I'm hearing some people talk so negatively, like, oh, they should have made themselves a little bit more needed in the federal government, like made themselves indispensable. Well, these people are indispensable. We just don't know yet because we haven't had the opportunity to figure it out. And I bet that was the best thing for us. Our country's not doing well. They said that even with the Department of Education, one of our guests was like, the apartment, we're having some of the worst outcomes. Yeah, you said because they leave them up to the states. Well, maybe we should have some more federally, guided mandates where people are actually, because the ones who are doing the most failing are the ones in the red states. You guys are the ones dragging us down the worst when it comes to education and healthcare. So there's a problem. There is a problem. If when we leave it up to you, you want to worry about putting the 10 Commandments in the schools instead of over mathematics and science. That's what you're worrying about. Or did the kids know the 10 Commandments? Does he know his math? Does he know his math? Does he know anything about
Well,
history?
it kind of messed it all
What
up
does what do they know?
when they started doing No Child Left Behind. That kind of threw off everything. I mean, like even LeVar Burton said that's why they got rid of the funding for Reading Rainbow because of that. Because reading was the last part. But the reason education is going down and most kids aren't as smart is the internet. You know what I'm saying? People can disagree, but let me explain this to everybody really quick. Yo, when we were young people, and I mean, I'm 42 now. If I wanted to gain knowledge, I'd have to go to the library or order a book and open it up and read it. You know what I'm saying? And so I would have that knowledge on me. Nowadays, they'd be like, okay, well, how many fish are 20,000 leagues beneath the sea? Google, tell me. And you'll ask Google, Google will tell you you're not keeping that information in. You know what I'm saying? So the way we receive information differently, so we don't have to hold on to it. So now people are allowed to be stupider. And you can sue people for stupider things. You know what I'm saying? So education has to change. It has changed, you know what I'm saying, with the internet. Now, the internet can give us better knowledge, but people aren't retaining the knowledge because before you had to make a quest to go get the knowledge.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we're going to keep everybody updated on that. There's also one I want to do. Justice Department ordered New York's mayor's corruption charges to be withdrawn. Um, the Justice Department on Monday directed federal prosecutors in New York to drop corruption charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams, an extraordinary intervention by a political appointee of President Donald Trump in a high-profile criminal case. In a memo seen, Deputy Attorney General Emal Bove told the U.S. Attorney Office in Manhattan, which brought the charges, to dismiss the case as soon as practical. Bove wrote that Adams' indictment in September 2024 improperly interfered with his 2025 mayoral re-election campaign. For the dismissal, Adams must sign an agreement that the charges could potentially be brought again in the future, Bove said. Nicholas Bias, a spokesperson for the Manhattan U.S. Attorney, declined to comment. Adams' lawyer Alex Spiro did not immediately respond to a request for comments. Prosecutors have not yet indicated to the judge overseeing the case, U.S. District Judge Dale Ho in Manhattan, that they plan to drop the case. Court records showed on Monday evening. Adams in September was hit with 5 counts indictment charging him with accepting travel perks from Turkish officials and political donations from foreigners in exchange for taking actions to benefit Turkey. So, I mean, now he's owned. That's all that is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They said, hey, well, we're going to drop it, but we can bring it back up if you don't do what we tell you to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely about to let ICE all through New York. They're going into schools. They're going anywhere they want to go in New York. He's going to open the doors. Give them the keys to the city. That's how I feel. I mean, were they valid charges that they give them? There probably were valid charges, but they're probably charges they could have hit any single mayor, any single sitting official with at any given time. They just had them in their back pocket on him. And as soon as he kind of balked with the whole idea of even dealing with being a sanctuary city, as soon as he even started kind of backing up against that, I think that's when they hit him with the charges. But I'm not sure about the timing. Of it. Was it before or after? I'm not 100%.
Well, you remember the whole thing. Remember they came after Como too. This is all Democratic ploys that they're attacking these people. Well, let's keep that 100. I'm gonna say that because when they came after Como, they hit him with the old Democratic stuff. They'd be like, "Well, we got somebody that said you sexually assaulted them a couple years ago with no evidence." But we got you. So they made him step down. Then they found out the lady was lying. But by then it was too late. He lost his job as the mayor. His brother lost his job at CNN. You know what I'm saying? All because of this woman made up a story and everybody wanted to run with it. So Eric Adams was doing the bidding of the Democrats, but people weren't liking it. Remember, he closed down the school to let the migrants stay there.
Yeah.
He was stepping over the homeless people, giving them cards. Remember, he was going to take the new apartment building in Harlem until the residents of Harlem, punked him. They was like, you ain't going to do none of that. He's like, ain't nobody gonna be comfortable up here. We got homeless people here in the streets and you stepping over us. So, I mean, he's not buddying up to Trump. Trump's from New York. And if Trump has a way to get back into New York, he's gonna
take it.
That's why he's in Florida. Trump's a New Yorker off tops. You know what I'm saying? Let's not forget that, people. That's his home. You know what I'm saying? And because of the political stuff, he couldn't go home. So he's stuck in
Absolutely.
Florida. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if Trump can get back to New York and be in New York, he gonna do it. And now he got the mayor in his pocket.
I mean, yeah. So there's nothing else that mayor is really good for at all right now because he is bought right now off
Yeah, it's over.
by the president. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully, I mean, it does some things to help New York. Hopefully, he can get some other things done. Hopefully, he goes and tries to get some type of pardons for people, and does better for the cities or something. Because he may not get hit with the whole funding freeze like every other sanctuary city is getting hit with right now. That might be something that might be helpful under this new deal that he's got going on because there's no way no one else would have thought about because I know that I mean that's Leticia, I believe that she's the out of the Southern District, so that's federal still. That's still federal. So I mean they'd have to hit him with state charges in order for it to
I
in
think
order for
Leticia,
anything.
that was state charges.
Not
Because if it
you,
was
you
federal,
think
he can
so?
get out of that. If it was federal, that's why he's been
No, no,
asking all
no. I
these.
think no. This is what I'm saying. These charges right here can be pulled back by the DOJ because
Yeah,
I
these
think
ones
they
are.
were
Yeah,
federal
these
charges.
are
I think
federal charges.
Leticia.
Yeah,
I think
he was state.
she might be out of the Southern District of New York. I think she might
Yeah,
be
she was
actually
state charges because
federal.
he wanted those charges to go federal so he can get them put through the Supreme Court and get them taken off of him. But they're like, nah, we ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? But as long as he got Mary, Adams in his pocket, and Adams got to do his bidding because all they got to do is be like, well, if you don't do it, we're just gonna hit you back with these charges that we can hit you with down the road. Ooh, that's cold game. They got him right in
Yeah,
their pocket.
I
Ain't nothing
mean,
they
there's
can
not
do. Nothing he can do about it. He just gonna have to bend the knee. That's all it
absolutely,
is.
absolutely, man. And one other thing I wanted to come with not one other thing, but another thing. Trump says Palestinians wouldn't be allowed back in Gaza under his plan. Wow. President Trump said Palestinians wouldn't be permitted to return to the Gaza Strip as part of his plan for the United States to take ownership of the war torn territory. In a taped interview with Fox News' Brett Baer, a clip with which was released Monday, Trump was asked about his proposal to own and rebuild Gaza. He first announced last week during Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the White House. We'll build beautiful communities for the 1.9 million people. We'll build beautiful communities, safe communities. Could be 5, 6, could be 2, but we'll build safe communities a little bit away from where they are, where all this danger is, Trump said in an interview, a portion of which aired before the Super Bowl on Sunday. More clips from the interview will air Monday night. Trump continued in the meantime, I will own this. I think of it as real estate development for the future. It will be beautiful. It will be a beautiful piece of land. Asked if Palestinians would have the right to return to the land, Trump said no, they wouldn't because they're going to have much better housing, much better. During his initial announcement last week, Trump said that Palestinians and many people would be able to live in Gaza after the U.S. took ownership of it. He said, I envision the world people living there, the world's people. You'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in Gaza Strip is unbelievable. It could be the Riviera of the Middle East.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, at least he's honest about it, and he says he's going to take it. I mean, let's just keep it. I mean, the Biden administration could have done something at least to stop it, but they weren't going to. They've had many opportunities to stop it. They could. Well, they did. They stopped sending weapons to Israel, and it slowed down. They gave him a red line. They were sending him humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza, but they could have just told, But we know who runs America and who doesn't. So, and everyone, all those people that had that protest vote, and they were like, "Oh, Trump will do something better for the people of Gaza." He is. He's going to give them a
absolutely,
new home. It's just
yeah.
not back where they used to live.
Nah, he's gonna kick them completely out of Gaza. He's taking all of that land. I mean,
All of
they've been
it.
talking about this for a while. Jared Kushner already kind of gave the heads up that this is what he wanted to do. He want and Jared Kushner, what is he? I think he's a Jewish person as well. You know what I mean? So I mean, when you look at it, this is what they're going to get themselves, and they're going to take this land. And Donald Trump, who's a real estate developer, this is what he's going to do. You look at it, he's coming out with some type of another like Coinbase ETF right now, as well as a sitting president. These are he's making business deals from the Oval Office. It's
Who's gonna
crazy to
stop
me.
him? Who's gonna stop him?
Nobody, and everybody's okay with it. They're like, "Well, he's a businessman. He's a business." I mean, we're not the slowest nation in the world. It's just ridiculous, and we're not looking at this for what this is. Like, man, this person's enriching himself right in front of our face. It's
Yeah.
fine with everybody because he's a businessman, but he's enriching the rest of his businessmen, the rest of the business people as well too, so he can insulate himself later on, so that you don't have any power. You're not
Well, the
going to
whole
have
thing.
any way of getting back for this right
We
here.
have to
None.
understand. Look, the Democratic Party in this country is complicit in it. The Democratic media is complicit in all this. They had their chance to, talk about all the bad stuff. I mean, they're talking about. You remember what he did? Don't elect him. Remember what he did to the Central Park Five, and he didn't give people homes in the '90s. I'm like, bro, you ain't bring up nothing what is during his presidency. You could have brought up that whole last year of his presidency and been like, that's what y'all want to go back to, but they didn't. But they wanted to make Joe Biden look like he was senile. Hey, he hasn't been seen in a while. You know what I'm saying? They had a chance to. They should have look. He's taken all these immigrant people and people that were trying to wait for legal status and locking them in Guantanamo Bay. The
Mhm.
Democrats could have done that to all the people from January 6th, routed them all up hella quick, boom, 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 locked them all up. All the politicians that would lock them all up, done the right thing. Now this is what's happening. Someone tried to
Yeah.
overthrow your government. They didn't succeed, so they took it through the court, through the voting system, and took it away. So Gaza is gone. They're going to take Gaza. He's going to take Canada after a while. Greenland's going to take that, and he's going to take the Panama Canal. He'll probably going to take part of Mexico too. And there's nothing nobody's going to do. They have the most highest enrollment in U.S. military in the last 2 months because they ready to go kill people for him. All right.
Absolutely. That's what this is about. I mean, the cool part about it, when you put it that way, and I believe the same thing as you do. They
Yeah.
understand they're gonna pack the military. Basically, like they said, pack the course. They're gonna pack the military with people who are willing to go and do his bidding. If he decides to take over, they're ready. They're ready to go help him do it. They're ready to go into the streets and kill whoever they need
Yeah.
to kill behind this person right here. This is the crazy part about it. They know that they won't be court martial. Even if they were, he's going to get him out of there. It's not going to matter. I
Yeah.
mean, the America is not ever going to be the same again. Not after this person has gotten into office 2 times and done things he's done. He is a clear, to me, a clear threat to America. Just like
Well,
Elon Musk is also a clear threat to America.
I think the threat to America. I mean, we talk about America in past tense these days. The America that we knew is gone. We'll never see that again. We're just watching the remnants of it fall. That's all it is. It's just about who wants to stay here and deal with it, and who's going to try to part away and leave it. Because by the time they're done with it, there'll be nothing to be. People, let's go back. Look, he said, make America great again. So they're going back to the time where there was no regulations, nothing. Hey, let's do it. You lose an arm at work, tough. Sew it back on with some Elmer's glue. Get back out there and get on that blade saw. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, people are
Absolutely.
just gonna have to. They're just gonna have to freak around, mess around and find out.
Let
Um,
me you got one?
yeah, I got one.
Right.
CDC confirms Nevada's dairy worker infected with different bird flu strain. A strain of bird flu spreading among dairy cows in Nevada has infected a dairy worker in the state, the Center of Disease Control and Prevention said Monday. The patient who's been working with sick cows was found to have a strain of bird flu called D1.1, which has long been circulating in wild birds. It's different from the strain of the virus that's caused the majority of human infections in the U.S. called B313. D1.1 has a mutation that could make the virus spread more easily in mammals. It was found in a dairy cow for the first time last month, also in Nevada, through the National Milk Testing Strategy that monitors for bird flu in dairy cows by testing their milk. It marks the second time a strain of the bird flu virus has spilled over from birds to cows. That's a big deal, said Michael Osholmes, an infectious disease expert and director of the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota. It's another indication that the virus continues to change. It's unclear how long D1.1 has been circulating in dairy cows or what its implications are. Andre Garcia, Vice President of Science, Medicine, and Public Health at the American Medical Association, said in a YouTube video posted by the group Monday. Some experts do fear that it could mark a new chapter in the outbreak or that bird flu may become an endemic in the U.S., Garcia said. This is something we're continuing to very closely follow. Um, so a lot of people don't understand the reason your eggs are so expensive is because of the bird flu. When a bird flu hits one chicken, you know what I'm saying, you have to kill all the chickens in the flock because now they're all infected. So that being said, that's why your eggs, it's not government regulations, it's not people marking up the prices of the eggs. No, it's the bird flu, and they've killed so many chickens in America that the chickens are scared. I mean, the eggs are scarce. So now it's gone over to the cows, and they've tested it in the milk. So your milk prices are going to go up. Your meat prices are going to go up. You know what I'm saying? And also Donald Trump, he's halting all the. I'm not surprised this story even came out the CDC because they've been
Mhm.
halting all the information coming out about public health. They've been halting. This administration's halting because they don't want to make him look bad.
It's crazy, man. They're controlling the media, to this extent, to where they don't want to tell the American people what's going on with their food and what's going on. You know, what I mean, what's going to be happening with the food prices. He hasn't come out and done anything to change that. When we, what he could have done a number of different things. Let's not act like he couldn't have.
Oh,
You're
he could have
going to
hit the
war
pin.
against.
Oh, yep, lower the prices.
Yeah, you're going. I mean, you're going against all the different countries that we are next to, who you probably could get some extra eggs from. Eggs weren't expensive when I was out of the country. Eggs weren't expensive. They got plenty of eggs out there. They probably would love to sell us some of their eggs out there from out of the country. But
Yeah.
no, you know what I mean. Right now, we're talking about putting tariffs on everybody. You're not worrying about the consumer. The consumer is the very least of his worry, and you're the consumer. But you're forgetting that. I'm looking at a person that's talking about, oh, they're everyone's mad at Elon Musk for finding money that they're stealing from him. Like, what did he find? What stolen money
If
did he find?
Elon Musk says this, they need to give that back to the taxpayer. Like we're about to get a fucking tax refund. You know what I'm saying? Once the people, I hate when people say that they should be using my tax dollars for that. What do you think they're going to use it for? They're not going to. You
Something
don't get
else.
to. They don't tax you and be like, so Edward, what would you like to us to do with your tax
They're
dollars?
gonna they're gonna they're gonna play it off like, oh, did we found all this money and this is how we're gonna pay for this. This is how we're gonna pay for this huge tax cut for the wealthy.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna get anything. What you're gonna pay is extra money in food. You're gonna think you got a tax cut, but really that money's going to the inflation that's gonna happen because he's not worrying about your food costs or your fuel costs. Because when we have these tariff wars, not to get off the subject, because this is what's
No,
happening
it's all
right
the
now.
same. It's all
I
the
mean,
same.
this food problem that we're going through. This was a issue that he spoke on. Oh, they should have handled this, and the third. This is what I feel like Kamala Harris should have spoke on herself and said we should have done a better job addressing this. We should have figured this out. We did so many other different things. This is what we can say we've done, but this is what we did. We weren't not able to take care of in the 4 years that we were here, but we will take care of it in the next four. This
Yeah,
is
but
what she should have came out forcefully and said.
a lot of
But she did
Democrat
not.
voters are so entitled. The Democratic Party, there's the voters are so entitled. You know what I'm saying? I saw that after Obama was, coming out of office, Hillary Clinton. She had to be this perfect person. They're like, well, you need to help this person, help these people, help these people. Donald Trump just ran off, hating.
That's all that, that
He ran off
that's good.
hate. He was like,
That's
look, he,
good
ran,
enough for
he
them
played off
though.
people's anger. But Democrats, they want the perfect candidate. Kamala Harris wasn't black enough. She didn't do enough for these people. Do enough. Now look at it. Look what's check it out. Look what's happening. LGBT people, you're going to lose every right you ever gained over Democrats, and you're going to lose all that before the year's over. They say DEI, that doesn't affect black folks because it wasn't really for us. They might hire a black person to put you in a position that's going to affect white women, veterans, disabled people, and LGBT people. You know what I'm saying? These people, all you people, you looked at the Democrat, you wanted this perfect candidate, and then you had these people. Oh, I didn't like either one of the candidates because it was the lesser of two evils. Well, let's see, because there was one side that was actually here to help you. They just didn't know how to put their foot down and say, "Shut your bitch ass up, follow me,
I
or let
mean,
this dude booty fuck you hard with no Vaseline." But they didn't. They
that's
were trying to coddle your feelings. Now there's no one here to coddle your feelings. You're going to watch
no.
your family, your friends suffer because you had a protest vote. Shout to all the Bernie Sanders voters from last time, and shout to all the people that voted for the Green Party. Because Donald Trump didn't win, just more people didn't vote for him. Y'all voted for the Green Party, you didn't show up to vote. And it
Yeah,
was the
that's
last time you ever got to vote. And so now look what's happening. Your eggs are going to be about $20 because the bird flu ain't going away because they're not doing nothing to stop it. You know
at
what I'm saying?
all.
At all.
They're,
At
they're,
all.
they're
They're
covering it
actually
up pretty
firing
much.
everybody that has something to do with stopping the bird flu. So now the price of your milk is going to go up. I don't even buy milk. I don't. I just felt some way. I became lactose intolerant.
Yeah, I don't buy milk either.
And then drinking
So,
cow titty milk, when I put it like that, it's just something I don't want to do.
yeah, I don't drink milk either. I might
No,
drink some oat milk or something like
yeah,
that.
I drink
You know what I
almond
mean?
milk. I do
You
almond
feel
milk,
me?
which actually almond milk is kind of the reason California's on fire because all the almond trees are in Northern California, and they use most of the water from California. Yeah, a lot of
Well,
people
I
don't know
mean,
that. You know what I'm saying? So
the point of it, at the end of the day, man, this is a horrible protest vote. I had some people who I really respect come out and say they were doing protest votes or they weren't voting for this or they're not part of this or X, Y, Z. And I guess because they're, like you said, they're entitled. They're entitled.
yeah,
They have no idea what it's like to be at the bottom for real. They're a part of something. They care. They have big hearts. They do. You do care, but you don't understand the real true struggle. Your struggle is not real. It's perceived real. Don't get me wrong. You do have day-to-day struggles. We all do. It's life. It's people. But there are real struggles that people actually go through who can tell you, you know what? I'm willing to take those 10 lashes, man, but to not have to take these other 30. You're like, no, we don't want to take any lashes because you've never taken them. You never had to really take those kind of lashes. You've taken regular life lashes that we get those too. Oh, those come along with life. Yeah, we get those. But we also get these over here. They were like, damn, okay, we can take 10 of those right there. I can take 10 of those, not to have to take these other 30. And we're trying to tell you guys, hey man, let's just stay on track right now.
I'm
Let's
telling
just
you, it was
stay
that.
on track.
It was the
It ain't
black vote,
perfect.
bro. It
You
was
know
the
what I'm
black
saying?
vote that did them in. Look, they Democrats ain't do nothing for black people, and we got tired of it.
88%, 88% of black men voted, and 92% of black women voted for
Yeah, but
Kamala Harris.
not 98% of black. I mean, think about it, the two
I'm just
million.
saying
She lost by what? A good 2 million. A good 2 million votes.
I believe people just did not show up to vote. A lot
They
of it
didn't.
was
They
more of
didn't.
the people just did not show up to vote, and there was a lot of protest vote too. 12 for him getting 10 or 12% of the black vote. That's huge. Of black male vote. That's huge. I mean, there's no way he should have gotten that. Look at the
That's
stuff
the
that
thing
he's
about it.
doing
Think
right
about it,
now.
bro.
There's
That's
just no
look. Think about
way.
it. He got 77 million votes, right? She got 75 million votes.
Mhm.
That 10% of black folks, that 10% of black vote, that's a good 3 million right there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot of people. And they were like, look, we're not playing this game with the Democrats. You always come around every 4 years. Hey, do this, don't, and try to fear monger us. And then you'd be like, all right, cool. Thanks for the win. Watch out, the police are coming. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, don't. We're not gonna. We can't send funding to you. We got to make sure that the gays got the funding this year. We can't make you a hate crime bill, but don't worry. The Asians asked for it 2 months ago. We got them though. You know what I'm saying? Black folks is like, yo, we ain't scared because you ain't gonna do nothing for us. And you saw what happened in Ohio. They tried to go march in that black city. You know what I'm saying? I watched it, and the black
Cincinnati.
folk, yeah, and the black folks was like, they was like, oh word. Oh, that's what you want to do now? They set up checkpoints. They be like, you ain't coming over here and doing this. We ain't taking that. See, that's the whole thing. Like the DEI stuff, they don't affect us. People don't understand when it comes to black folks. We're been arguing amongst ourselves. Now y'all want to give us a reason to focus on one group. Don't do that. Don't do that. We
Absolutely.
crazy. We have PTSD. You might want to leave us alone. All right. I'm just saying. We don't give
Hey,
a fuck. What
and
worse can you do to us? Ooh, lock us up for life? Been doing that. Ooh, hang us up in the tree and say it was our fault? Been doing that. Take away our funding and not give us nothing? Been doing that. What do you think? Now you think you're gonna come in our face like it's the 50s and talk some shit? Bitch, I'll bite your nose off. I'll bite your nose off, but
well, right now they
yeah.
really trying to play in our face. I'm gonna tell you right now about this right here. Why does Donald Trump want to give Afrikaners refugee status? Is Elon Musk behind it? On Friday, U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order halting all funding to South Africa, fulfilling his campaign promise to punish the nation for what he saw as huge human rights violations against white minority people. White Afrikaners who are descended from Dutch and other European colonists were blatantly discriminated against by a land expropriation law that South Africa just approved, according to the Trump administration. South African government was allegedly permitting violent attacks against Afrikaner farming communities, according to the Trump administration. Additionally, it accused South Africa of backing bad actors around the world, such as Russia, Iran, and militant Palestinian group Hamas. Since the end of apartheid system of white minority rule in 1994, the distribution of land in South Africa has been complex and emotional topic with racial overtones for more than 30 years. It gained global limelight when Trump and Elon Musk, his South African-born advisor, accused the South African government of anti-white measures, often using false claims. The South African government can take land from private individuals under the new Expropriation Act, but only if it serves the public interest and meets specific requirements. Trump referred to it last Sunday when he first announced his intention to stop funding to South Africa. The government of South Africa, he alleged, was engaging in terrible things and seized land from certain classes. This dude right here, bro, it's gotten to a point to where he's basically wants these people to come over here and get refugee status in our country, but he doesn't want people who are really fleeing, who really need asylum, like Venezuelans who we've helped destroy their government by with all of our sanctions, and they're basically they live under threat on a consistent basis. One of the most violent countries in the world because of partially what their government did and a lot of what we did as well. He doesn't want them to come here. You have all kinds of other people who are fleeing. Haitians who are really fleeing, basically who's been overthrown. We know that it wasn't it a Colombian and an American, wasn't it like some it wasn't militant groups who went over there and killed their president a few years back.
And that's not Mount South Africa.
No, in
And
Haiti.
Haiti, yeah, no. Actually, it was the guy said he worked for the United States. He was like, I was sent here by the U.S. government to assassinate the president of Haiti.
I mean,
You know,
this is
but I mean, to your original story, check it out. I don't want none of these African booty scratchers immigrants coming into my country from
African
South.
booty scratcher
I said
immigrants. It's
exact.
crazy, bro.
I've been waiting to get that one out. No, I don't want none of these South African pasty booty scratchers coming into my country, taking away my resources.
They are called Afrikaners. That's what they call themselves. Afrikaners.
Afrikaners. I
Afrikaners.
don't want these
Afrikaners.
Afrikaners, booty scratchers coming in here taking away
And the
from my country.
Boers.
I ain't got enough suntan lotion for all of them. I don't want none of that.
And it's
Look, it's
crazy.
crazy. Hey, all the
Yeah.
migrants got to leave, but these new ones can come. All the migrants got to leave,
You
except for the
know,
ones that we can pay less than Americans.
no, and he also said that you could pay all of them less than Americans. You honestly could, because his biggest thing is this: he doesn't want. He said the poisoning the blood of America, but for some reason these people won't be poisoning the blood of America because they're white.
Oh, bro,
Let's pay attention to who he's talking
bro,
about.
I ain't seen a single one of them immigrant planes flying to Europe.
None at
Not
all.
a single one. Where are all these Ukrainian people? Why didn't he toss them out yet?
He's not looking to toss them out. He's looking.
I got a homie. I'm not even gonna put him on blast, bro. I got a homie. I know he's not from America. He ain't even stressing. He's like, I don't give a fuck. He ain't talking. He ain't getting rid of me.
They're not asking him no questions
They ain't
about.
gonna say nothing until
at
they
all.
even get a question.
I mean, we know who they're looking for. We know what they're trying to do. They're trying to. This is a cleansing that they would call it of America, and keeping America more, or making America more white. This is what they want to do. This is how they feel like this country should be. They're afraid of what's coming forward. You cannot stop the inevitable. If you try and do that, all you're gonna do is hurt America going forward. Honestly, because you have to look at our population.
Plan. But I mean, you say that all the time, right? But that's the plan. That's the
it
plan.
is.
If
Absolutely.
I can't have it, nobody can. They're like, we created this glorious
They've
country.
sold themselves out already to
yeah,
China
already
and
it's
Russia.
over.
They've been sold out. We've been sold out.
But I mean, say we made this glorious country. We just can't give it up to the gays and the niggas. Like,
They didn't
shit.
make this. They know they didn't make this. This is, I mean, not
Hey,
by
but
themselves.
they
it
gonna
was,
destroy
it was
it.
all of us.
They'll
They're
destroy
absolutely,
it. Yeah.
absolutely. They'll destroy it.
They'll destroy.
Before they send
I've
anybody
been
else.
saying that for a minute. They'll destroy this whole planet before they give it back to
And you
anybody
got
else.
and you got apartheid Elon, who comes from an apartheid nation. Do we believe that to the time he turned 18, living in an apartheid country where the sheer minority, I think there's like 5% or something like that, Afrikaners, which are white South Africans that live there, that control like probably 60-70% of the wealth there. You think that he didn't get that? I've watched videos where these Afrikaners, will be a couple black Africans, South Africans, they'll go to a pool and they'll be like controlled by white South Africans. And they beat them up, try to drown them in the pool, everything, try to beat up the black kids. And I mean, and they won't even let them eat at their restaurants. It's crazy, man. That they're being treated like minorities in their own country. And
think about that.
Had the most.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And here in America, that's kind of it's kind of, I think it was part of Project 2025. And someone had said this too. I watched I read an article on it and watched the video. But they're trying to say, they know the white population is dwindling. So what they're trying to do now is put white people in these positions of power. So even if they're only 5%, 10% of the population here, they'll still control everything.
Supreme Court. Look at the Supreme Court right now. Our Supreme Court is a prime example of that right there. They went out and got really young, conservative white people to put in those roles.
Yeah, but we can overthrow them.
And you can't overthrow the Supreme Court.
There's
nothing you can do about that.
When we overthrow the rest, enough stuff is gonna look. When people don't have money, jobs, or food, like someone said something to me one time when I was working somewhere. They're like, "Oh man, I'll have your job. I'll take a job away from you and make you homeless and starve." And I said, "Oh no, what am I gonna do with all my spare time and anger?" And then I looked, you know what I'm saying? Then they were like,
to jail.
They were like, I'll leave you alone. I'm like, yeah, I think you will. So what do you think people are going to do once they start to lose their homes because they can't afford them? They can't feed their kids and they're watching them starve, and their kids are going to be looking like North African children with the bones. Remember Sally Struthers? Was that Sally Struthers? She was getting hella fat in the video. She was skinny at one. Then you saw it a year later. She's like, feed these African children. She got hella fat. The kids were still starving.
You're stupid, bro. I mean, it's just that's how I look at it right here, man. The worst part about this is that we're allowing a person who we know is a racist. Elon Musk is racist. Period. Plain and simple. He's had racism happen at his plants, at his Tesla plants, no problem. The kid who he brought into, I think it might have been the Treasury. They ended up getting rid of him for racial remarks that he made. And he goes on.
Oh, I have those remarks. He said just July 2024. He said, just for the record, I was racist before it was cool. September 2024, you cannot pay me to marry outside of my ethnicity. September 2024, normalize Indian hate. December 2024, 99% of Indian HB1s will be replaced by slightly smarter LLMs. They're going back. Don't worry, guys. And then June 2024, I would not mind at all if Gaza and Israel are both wiped off the face of the earth. And JD Vance came out and he said, I don't agree with some of the stuff he said, but
Yeah.
let him back. And they hired him right back. Yo, this is what we live in. Donald Trump ran off hate. He said, I hate everybody that ain't a white male. And the white people are like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah. And the niggas and the gays need to go too. And the immigrants. And they were like, all right, yeah.
You know, and they was already with that from the beginning, man. We all know
Yeah.
how they're trying to get rid of. I mean, and he's come up with a plan. I
Well,
didn't think he,
I
I,
told
I
people
didn't
that,
think he could come up with a plan to get rid of us. I was like, okay, what's this gonna be his plan to get rid of us? He got one, and there's actually, I was like, oh, that's a good idea that you just
yeah.
had. It ain't a great idea because it's dumb as fuck. You know what I mean? But it's a good
I
idea
never
coming
felt
from.
easy about it anyways, bro. I better cut you off. But I was like, y'all cheering on Joe Biden when I was like 69 people saw what he did and was like, let's do it again. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that don't make me
This is
comfortable at
crazy, man.
all. They just sat in the cut and waited, you know what I'm saying? But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna keep you updated. And we're gonna keep you here as long as they allow us to, until West gets sent to Guantanamo and I'm back inside the house cooking. Until then, until then, folks, this is Uncommon Courtesy. We will see you next time.